15th, and you may wonder what I'm doing with all this stuff on the dining room table. What I'm doing is making a cigar box violin. It's actually Julie's homework project. This is due on Monday. I went to a smoking store, Smoking Depot, and got this beautiful cedar cigar box. And we're going to use that. And we're going to use chopsticks, which I've labeled, and I've drilled holes in them. I don't know where is it? I drilled a hole in it, as you can see. This particular one is the E for the E string, and I measured and drilled these holes, approximating as closely as I could to the violin, but making it a little bit different too. That's where the chopsticks are going to go. To drill holes in the chopsticks, I actually used a very small finishing nail in my power drill because all the regular drill bits that I had were too large. I'm going to, at least for now, cannibalize this from my viola and use that. Otherwise it's going to be very hard to use the strings. Believe it or not, from Shar music store I got these overture strings, like a complete set plus an extra E string for $9.99. I was going to use a 50-pound fish line, which also costs $9.99, but I think I'm going to return the fish line and use the actual violin strings. I marked this for the bridge. It's a paint stirring stick from Home Depot. However, I think it's going to be a little bit thick, and also my main concern is that the bottom be very, very flat, so it'll make maximum contact with the cigar box, or actually the stick that will be going over the cigar box. So I moved to a thinner Home Depot painting stick. I realized that it's very soft pine wood, but we're operating with very limited parameters, and it could be a little colorful here. And I'll probably also make the part where the strings come over onto the fingerboard, which is very, very slightly raised out of this too. And that'll be the best I can do. And I can file down lower cut points for the strings actually to go in, so it'll be lower than the stick is, of course. So this is basically the plan for the pegs. They're going to be chopsticks, and the little holes are way, way down here, so there's a minimum of vibration. And then the little ridge that I'm going to be making will be right over here. This is supposed to be actually something that Julie's doing. Some of it's too hard and using power tools. So I'm doing the harder things and the measurements, but she can do the final putting together. Rather something like a homemade do-it-yourself violin kit. This is where this is going to go, and then the bridge is going to go around here. This is actually a little bit out of proportion, of course, because it's a viola tailpiece, but we'll just do the best that we can. It's, of course, makeshift under very quick circumstances. So wish us luck. This is one more shot to give you a clearer idea of the conception of the thing. That's the approximations to the violin. You can see that the bridge is not centered. Of course, neither is it on the violin. The bridge we're going to make is going to have to be considerably lower, because on this you can see that for this size bridge it's actually way under the fingerboard for most of it, and there's only very little bit, about less than my pinky finger, that's actually over the fingerboard. So it's actually going to have to be a very low bridge in comparison. It's going to be have to be less than half as high as my viola bridge that I'm using here for demonstration purposes. And once again, the chopsticks were my idea, although I did read that someone once used golf tees for the tuning pegs on a cigar box guitar way back in the 30s and the 40s. I did a little research on the internet. I was very lucky that the person I talked to in Home Depot just happened to be someone who worked for years making musical instruments, and especially working on violins at Shar music store here in Ann Arbor. So he was able to give me some very good tips. And I used some of those. So anyway, that's it for the moment on October the 14th. This is October the 15th. This is the finished violin. And it took about 6 hours just to get it in tune. And I hope the pegs don't spring out, which they did before. Thank you. I'm taking one more shot of it because it just occurred to me that actually this is not going to last all that long as an instrument, because it's got my viola tailpiece